There we go. There we go. Let me get on the old chat here. Bam. So we're going to be cranking out to the Halo 5 soundtrack for a bit. And then it's going to reset all back to the Guild Wars stuff. I have an iTunes playlist that just goes through a whole bunch of stuff. So, but yeah, we're doing, tonight's going to be a fun one because we're going to play some games after we do art for a little bit. So we're going to put our dino painting on the back seat for a minute because I'm actually kind of cranking up the volume on my personal project. And that's kind of taking front and center attention now. Everything from like formatting books to finding font to write stuff in to making new illustrations to, I mean, the whole thing is starting to go on all cylinders. So we're gonna, this isn't necessarily for that, maybe. I mean, it might actually be, but it sounds weird. This is actually kind of the topic about the next YouTube video that's coming out because I just recorded the voiceover for that 20 minutes ago, 30 minutes ago, because it's about 20 minutes. So, but anyway, this is, I'm trying some new, not styles necessarily, but I'm trying to condense down my style to something that's so easily repeatable that I can use it to make the panels for the graphic novel. Like, no matter what the painting is, it needs to be fast, it needs to look good, it needs to have the right shapes, all that stuff. So that's what we're going to play with here. I kind of already have a sketch set up, and it's one of the sketches you're going to see on the YouTube video when it comes out. But really, I want to try to find a good way to render but not over-render, and you'll see what I mean when we get in there. So there's actually a lot on my mind in regards to this, but it's exciting. It might seem a little manic, just because my brain will kind of be all over the place, but this is all in service to simplifying down an idea to actionable, repeatable ways of thinking. So no matter what it is that we're painting or making, it's going to have a certain level of consistency and quality. So that's what our overall goal is. So let me get over there. So yeah, we have this, which is kind of just a generic, let me move my mic a little bit over. Perfect. Okay, cool. So just kind of a generic, almost a ninja assassin rogue, but low on the totem pole as far as their faction is concerned. So they could be a recruit or kind of a newbie, almost like a white belt, like learning. Just kind of a cool, a CAD raid. Oh my goodness. CAD, you crazy. You crazy. CAD's the real MVP, man. What's up, brother? It's good to see you. Let me put away my C4 energy drink that we have at 10:30 at night because I'm a crazy person. But we're here in Clip Studio Paint, and we are gonna hop on over between this and Photoshop. I'm finalizing more of my brushes for the next brush pack that we're gonna be selling. So we're gonna be flexing some of those out and stuff, but I also want to show you guys a cool technique that I found to mimic kind of three-dimensionality paint strokes, no matter what software you're using. So I always talk about Rebelle and PaintStorm Studio and stuff, but for those that already maybe own a painting program but don't want to buy a new one, I can show you some cool stuff you can do with brushes you already have to kind of get that same effect. So I will move these over. So yeah, we're just going to render this guy out a little bit, just to kind of see. Let me move chat over. I'll keep glancing over at it, but there we go. Okay, so there we go. It won't be as much of a head tilt to see chat, but really I'm going to clean this up a little bit. This is just to get a new styling for my little story elements for the world building book I'm gonna make. So really try to bring this in. It doesn't have to be really rendered, but I want this to look dynamic enough that it can work as a graphic novel art style. Oh man, it's been a long time. So let's see, we met each other 20. Dude, it might be closer to 9 or 10 years, because I remember I was hitting the streaming thing hard in 2014. So it's been a long time. Yeah. So yeah, totally. Yeah. So I was like 2014, 2015. So yeah, 2015, man. It's been, dude, time is not real. I'm convinced time is not real. Get rid of some of these sketch lines. It is. It's absolutely madness. Me and Britt were talking about that the other day. That like we have early day relationship stuff on camera because of when we started dating. You know, we got married in 2017. We started dating in 2014. It's super funny that it goes back that long too. Like, need to fix this nose. The retro nights for sure. Whenever all of the kiddos get a little older, we might have to make a return of a retro night. That'd be fun. But yeah, tonight we're actually going to play some games after I paint for a little bit, which I haven't done on stream in a long time. Long time. So I'm coming here with my wet, the wet kind of brush, sort of getting this. Really, this is just about finding a cool, dynamic style to make a graphic novel in. Something that doesn't take a whole lot of time for each painting, that looks cool. Basically, I just need to know if people would read something if it looked like this. Do you know what I mean? Like, give it a chance enough to... What I do need to do. Because, yeah, this is weird, because it's not necessarily rendering. Because I don't care if this is, like, super rendered or not. I just care if it looks good enough to be a storytelling... like, storytelling quality. So I'll do this, and I'll come back with a sharper brush and kind of refine some of this stuff right here. And we get rid of the scragglies. And maybe that nice mix of like hard brush, sketchy graphite, and then like soft brush stuff could be a pretty powerful look. And maybe like that. I do want to render the face a little bit more, but I don't really know where or why, or you know what I mean. We'll do it. We'll see what happens. So yeah, what I'm learning is this is all kind of like silhouette stuff, you know? Like, how well does this look as a silhouette? Oh, Mr. Manly Guy, Greg, what's up? I want to see you rage a little. Oh, if we do ranked Street Fighter, don't worry. You shall see it. Actually, I don't know. I'm still like rookie level. I haven't actually done a whole lot of ranked. In fact, I think I've done like 4 ranked matches in Street Fighter 6. So I'm still like newbie. But that's part of the fun. And a good friend of mine named Marco, you've probably seen him in chat, his Nerd in the Bay. He is a genius when it comes to fighting games. He's actually like a commentator. He's been my fighting game like guru since I've known him, and I've known him for 20 years almost. So, and he said he'd coach me. He's already master rank with, I know for Guile for sure. I don't know if he has a second character yet or not, but it's only a matter of time. He's the type that he could master every character in the game, get it master rank, which I want to say master ranked is the top 5% in the world or something, like something outlandish, like just ridiculous. And that. So yeah, like this is a different type of rendering for me. But I kind of like this. Like, it's not super painterly necessarily. It's not something that's like, I don't know. There's something energetic about it. It's funny, this next YouTube video, I actually spend like 4 or 5 minutes trying to explain what it is. And actually, I'm going to come back over here. Do this. I just think it looks cool and it's fun to do, and I think there's something to that. Like, I think, let me get a little darker here. I need that to kind of go over. Yeah, something like this. And then we'll get a wet brush and sort of bring in the shadow a little bit. Almost like it's going into a shadow thing right there. Cool. Because, I mean, I would love to have this type of style as a graphic novel or something. because this is relatively easy. Like, there's no stress, really. It's just, does this look cool, yes or no? Instead of trying to meet this very painterly, classical look and feel. It's more about the dynamics of the image. Actually, let me just darken that a little bit. Around that nose. Yeah. See, it's almost like there's no real mistakes because this isn't really anything. It's like, I'm not looking at reference, I'm not trying to make it look like something. It just looks like what it is. So all bets are off. You know what I mean? Like, I get to dictate what's right and wrong about it instead of a reference image. And then just try to use my knowledge from doing observational stuff to the best of my ability and see if this actually pans out to be anything. Face anatomy and painting, huge subject. So yeah, we can do what's up, Ivan? Let's see, do you see a little bit any of the old Kami Networking? A little bit. I've seen Sin Striker a little. I've seen who else was in here the other day? Someone, funnily enough, somebody actually went onto my Steam profile and left a message and was like, said it looked like a time capsule because all the people that commented there were part of the Hobo Nation or whatever. Which one? Let's see. Oh, in the About section. Oh, I keep trying to change that one. Let me change that real quick. And it will never save. It just doesn't save. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the WesleyGardner.com's out. But, I don't know why the... I'm going to change that in real time, by the way. Content monetization, stream, charity, home. Oh, I bet I can just go onto my page. Twitch.tv. I'm gonna mute myself before it becomes Inception. Cool. That should be fixed now. Thank you, sir. Bam, there we go. What's up, Pipe? Since the weekend, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming to hang out. Yeah, we're just experimenting with kind of a new style right now. I want to start making a few like small like comic panel, graphic novel, like just to practice some storytelling stuff. Because I think it'll also help just my overall painting. So I'm trying to find a good style that I can work quickly. Here. And then here after a bit we're actually going to play some games. A lot of people want to see me play some ranked Street Fighter 6, so you might get to see me get my butt handed to me on Street Fighter. Let's get that a little darker under the cheek. But yes, I was going to discuss a little bit of facial structure and like face anatomy. So what really helped me, what super helped me on face stuff, are you thinking of keeping the lines in the end? Like not all of these, but I was actually thinking about coming back and like doing something like this, like coming in and almost like cross hatching some detail like this, you know what I mean? Or like the places where it's getting a little, you know what I mean? So reintroducing some stuff. Oh, Godzilla -1 was great. I love that movie. Yeah. I wanted to see it twice in theaters. I just didn't have time, but I did see it once in theaters. But what really helped me with face anatomy and like facial structure. So it's one thing you can study, like you can study the skull and like where it goes and how it fits in the bottom jaw and the mandible and the zygomatic bone and the, you know, your nasal cavity and stuff. And that's fine. And it's effective. You'll learn kind of how the construction is and like where the cheekbone is and the edge of your orbital, you know, and temporal bone and all that stuff. You'll learn all that. But what really helped me is if you go to a website like Sketchfab, and it's a let me pull this over here. If you go into like Sketchfab, there's something in classical training called an Asaro head. A-S-A-R-O. Let me... sure, accept all. Why not? So, the Asaro head. What this is this breaks down... Sorry, it's a 3D render. This breaks down the planes of the head. So the anatomy might actually be kind of off, but this is great at learning, like, your nose is here, and then it, you know, it's a flat bridge, and then you have the two sides of the bridge that actually form a triangle, like the shapes of the face in regards to each other. This is really helpful. So, like, you can see how it has, like, the bone structure in the cheeks and things like this, and you can see where it's like a sphere, but then they slice the sides off to make it flat and stuff. And then how the lips go, and then the chin protrudes, and you can even see the whatever. I always think of turkey neck. Older people are like, oh, my turkey neck, but like this muscle right here where it allows you to like look up and stuff. There's a lot of anatomical value to that, but this shows how it looks visually. And I really started leveling up whenever I would try my best to make an Asaro head from memory. Because then if I come back and I like look at, let's say, this, and then I you know, and then I come back over and I make this smaller. What I can actually do is probably just take a screenshot of it and like try to get this face in the right, kind of the same angle, you know? And like you can see some of the major shapes are there, like the eye socket, the nose is doing the thing. I need to make this a little bit more pronounced. But then you can see the high cheekbone. I actually could raise that a little bit. So, of course, this isn't going to be every face structured this way, but this gives you landmarks that you can do. And then what you can also do here, which is cool, if you hold down, I think it's the Alt button? No, the Control button, you can change where the light is. So you can see how those dynamics play out differently whenever you cut around and like go around. So very, very helpful. Bridgman's Anatomy of the Body. Yeah, it's definitely big. Also, Andrew Loomis is another big one. I actually do a modified Loomis method. So the way I kind of go about this, if I just make this and do a quick head, and like this is going to be super, 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 super fast. But if I come over and I start off, like I said, with like a very, oh, there we go. And there we go. I start with a very generic Loomis method. So let's say I was going to get that pose that we have right there. I will do a circle, and like it doesn't even have to be a good looking circle. And then what I do, actually, let me get rid of some of these lines just to I pick where the face is going to be looking. So like for instance, there I do a crossbar like going around the circle. And then I figure out where I want the middle of the nose, like right between the eyes. And I'll make that line. And then the same thing. And then I'll go around the circle like this. And the cool thing about this is this line, you can bring down further. And then this line, I make my ear. Like where do I want the ear? So I'll put the ear right here, right? Now this forehead's a little small. I can come back and fix that. So some people have different opinions, and this is actually going to be informed by your style and what makes more sense to you. A lot of people might make that just the top of the ear, right? Which is probably more correct anatomically. But really what this line can be, this line, the way it used to be, the way I used to do it when I first started, was I was like, oh, this could be the middle of the eyes, or like maybe the top of the eyes right there, right? And then we're gonna come around and kind of do that same thing. There's top of the eye right there. And then this is where the nose is gonna come out, that middle line. So then we're gonna come out here. It's gonna kind of curve around. And then it was funny because I would do this and I was like, something looks weird about the head. Something looks weird about until I realized that I had my measurements wrong. So instead of doing that, this is actually the eyebrow. That line that I would put going around the circle is actually the eyebrow. So I developed it like this. Like here's where the eyebrow would be. There's where the eyebrow would be. And this angle is kind of rough because the deal is, but something that happens, let's say you have your eyebrow right here. Here's your other eyebrow. Here's your nose. Kind of coming down here, you know, like that type of thing. Right where your eyebrow hits, the skull comes in like this, and then it comes back around, back under where the bottom part of that nose. And this isn't for every angle. This is just if you're doing like a third or something. So I do it like a very comic book way. So this is just a way for me to get stuff on the page, and then from here you can have, you know what I mean, something like this, and then here the eyebrow is going to come out. But this also makes sure that you keep your eye like more of a sphere. Like it looks off because these are not right, but do you know what I mean? Like, and then I just kind of extend out where that angle of the nose where it's kind of coming down, and a little further into the face is where the nostril is going to be. And then from the nostril, it's going to be kind of like this sort of U shape, or like a C shape, I guess, to kind of cup in, because that's where all that oil is and stuff. And also your mouth lines are going to be there. This is basically how I would simplify stuff in art school whenever we would do life drawing, because, you know, if we had somebody that's sitting in place and we were doing a portrait, I had to get their face silhouette down quick, because they may move. They may like, chew, and then move back to where they were. But their head wouldn't be at exactly the right angle. So what I would do is I would get their proportions. So in this, because basically if we were doing a straight on shot, I do the middle of a circle right here. This is your eyebrow, there, come down a little bit. So some people will make this bottom part right here, the bottom of the nose. It depends on the person. If they have a longer nose, sure. But I usually do it a little above that, because then I have some wiggle room. What angle do I want their nose at? Do I want the shadow to come down like that? You know, what do I want? And then that's when you can kind of curve this for the nostrils to come up. And remember how I was talking earlier, I mentioned it quick, but on the Loomis method, you take a sphere and then you shave the sides off. So literally, you would shave the sides off like that. So if we got rid of that, right? So we're here. Then in the middle spot between kind of where you have this line right here in the bottom of the nose, you can put your mouth, and then you just kind of do something like that. So the reason why this helps me is now this bottom part of the circle becomes the top part of your jaw, like that, which means this comes out under, and see, this is kind of a long face, but you can also see how people like this could be like Batman, right? Because then if you just shrink this a little bit, you know, and that's what I mean. You just block in the stuff first, and then you can make your changes. It's not about being exactly right, putting it down exactly where it goes like you could. And, you know, somebody like Jim Lee or David Finch or somebody that's done comics for 25 years, they'll get it the first time. They will never have to edit because they've drawn a head and a body from so many different angles. They just get it. But you just get this in here, and then you can come and start editing. So like, okay, I'm gonna kind of curve this a little bit, kind of curve this a little bit, and then what you're gonna see, and I'll actually come this, I can actually raise this mouth up a little bit more if I want it to be a little more realistic, and that way my chin isn't some like Jay Leno chin. It doesn't go all the way down. It could, if that's your character, but then if it like comes down maybe here, and then here, and then where the magic really happens is that same line that you have for your eyebrow, that can be the top of your ear. And then what happens is the bottom of your ear, I know I'm wearing my giant headset right now, but bottom of the ear can come right between the bottom of the nose, like right where your nose ends, boom, comes down there. So if we got the bottom of the nose right here, we got this is where our ears are going to be. And like I said, this kind of changes depending on the person's facial proportions, but you got something like that. Now to really make this pop, I'm going to get rid of these leading lines. And you're going to see how it makes, it like makes a face, right? So you got that. You can bring that in. But that's basically the dimensions that I look at whenever I'm making a face. And then maybe jaw comes in, jaw comes in. Usually you only see that if they're very skinny or if they're very old, because it's very skeletal in nature. Essentially, you're making a skeleton, you know what I'm saying? Like this, and then you have that. All of these proportions should work to make what you're looking at a skull. Do you know what I mean? And then you have like you can do stuff like that, and it's all, of course, like tied together, but that is essentially what you're going after. And if you want to talk about like likeness, likeness all happens in the power T. So what the power T is, the power T is basically that look of, here's my eyebrows, here's my nose, his eyes are a little close together, but that's fine. And the nose is a little... But this is where likeness happens. The proportion between the mouth, the chin, basically all of this, straight up and down, nose, mouth, chin, and then the eyes. How far are the eyes away from the side of the head? So a T shape. This T is where likeness is. The rest of it could be hairstyles, it could be whatever, but like, you'll always study those proportions whenever you're doing a portrait of somebody. But what's real fun is, I've done portraiture and things like that, but now all of this is going to be imagination based. So I don't have a reference model. I don't have people I'm looking at, or, so I'm like, okay, what looks cool? I kind of know where stuff goes. Let me draw something. And that's what we have. That's what we have here. It's not technically right, but it looks kind of cool. So what can we do with this? How can we push it and pull it and, Great stuff today. And oh, thanks, man. Thank you, Kat, for the raid, by the way, man. It's much appreciated. So with the games, we might load up. I rolled a new character on Guild Wars 2. I already have 3 level 80s, a level 60, and I made my 5th character because the new expansion comes out in like 14 days, 13 days. Comes out the 20th. So we might play that, but also I've been meaning to do some ranked games on Street Fighter. Play against real people, get my butt handed to me. But I'd like to get up the ranks. I'm a rookie right now. Haven't played a whole lot. I want to get in there, get better. Get better and better. So, but yeah, so hopefully that was somewhat helpful. But there's a lot. Like Andrew Loomis, you get Bridgman, you got Hogarth is another one. Those are great because they don't necessarily dig way deep into the anatomy. They can, and they know how to do the musculature and stuff. But a lot of people, from what I find, a lot of artists get so caught up in that it doesn't look right. Because you're so worried about, like, well, if the jawline's here, and then this is here, and then you put this, and then the ear, and then the that, and the blah, 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 blah. And you're so in the weeds that you're not making a face. Like, the whole idea of a face, even look at, like, Pixar artists. And, Disney, of course, Walt Disney Studios and Studio Ghibli and all that stuff, they have condensed a face down to like main features. Emojis are also great to look at. Like you can get a lot of personality just from looking at the emojis. So getting that language is actually something I'm going to strive to do better, because I think that's where a lot of storytelling can happen. It all happens in the face, right? So if we get the faces right, one, it gets us away from same face syndrome. I work very hard to make sure my faces are distinct, whether they're longer or fatter or shorter or bigger eyebrows or bigger nostrils, or like all the mechanics are there. It's just you can kind of like Mr. Potato Head them together. Like I want them to have smaller eyes and bigger eyebrows, and that's gonna make people look different. That's also why portraits, like doing portraits and oil paintings of people, is some of the hardest stuff to do. And I would say if you ever get commissioned to draw a person that is real, that you know, or even if you don't know them, trace it. For God's sake, trace it. You're going to have so many problems dealing with like shadows and all that stuff anyway. At least get the proportions right. Like, I know a few of my friends that do pet portraits. They ask for like 10 reference pictures, and then they make an amalgamation and literally trace the face of the pet, of the cat, of the dog, of the guinea pig, whatever. You got to get it. Like, that part's non-negotiable. Everything else can be artistic, but that just doesn't, unless you're like a caricature artist, and then you can really start playing with what's acceptable on stretching and pulling and all that stuff. But like, if you're doing like a standard observational still life portrait of somebody, trace it, man. The best you can, try to grit it out. That's why you'll see people holding up their thumbs. That's why you'll see people draw the boxes and then try to like align their eyeballs with the boxes and stuff. Like there's so many different ways to get what you see down onto the canvas. But that's why something like this is so freeing, because I have none of that. There's no, this is without a net. This is just, can we make somebody that looks cool and kind of use our gut instead of, instead of reference. What's funny is I can actually, let me get that. Yes, it really does. If you're off at all, if their ear is slightly off. See, that's the thing, is like, people will knock. And if you need to make something completely original and all that stuff in your tracing, I don't recommend that at all. But if you're learning, and if you are making something of somebody who is real, yes, for God's sakes, trace. Like, if it was good enough for freaking Norman Rockwell and Leyendecker and, all these people, it's good enough for me. I'll tell you that. So see, this is what I'm thinking. Like, if we do something like that, just something cool, like, and then light can catch here, almost like there's something engraved on their head. It doesn't even make sense. I don't know what it is, but maybe that's not the point. Actually, I don't want that to be black. There we go. So something's up with the mouth. It's funny, John Singer Sargent always said
that a portrait is a picture of somebody where something's wrong with the mouth. It's one of the best quotes I've ever heard, because it's absolutely true. And I mean, if that comes from the man himself, you know what I mean? Like, in here, let me do that. There's these. I guess I should probably decide on where the light is coming from, huh? There we go. So see, something like this would be cool. Like, this could be main panels for the comic. Like, if it's a really big, like, up close and personal dramatic character moment, I would render to this level. But see, just making stuff like this is fun. It's not super stressful. It's not crazy difficult to do. So maybe this type of thing is a winner. I don't know. Maybe I need to come over here. Another thing. Here's a pro tip. If you really want to get a cool looking face, the bottom eyelid always catches light. So you can come down here like this, and it kind of like establishes. Let me grab this one. Get that a little bit. It just automatically makes an eye look better. It's always that bottom eyelid. That's one of the things that I see younger artists or artists that are just getting into like drawing characters. Whenever they're painting, they forget that bottom eyelid. That bottom eyelid does some heavy lifting. Heavy lifting. Like, it completely just changed the mood of this one. You know, and I just added a few little squiggles and a thing, and then it's done. You know what I mean? But it's a big deal. There. I don't necessarily like this nose. But that's the thing that's so tricky about doing portrait work and character design and stuff. Even like, yeah, if you are a millimeter off, it can completely change how something looks. You know what I mean? It's funny, I actually did some rendering for a character portrait like this for the Warhammer book that I did recently. And, they did not make the cut. Which is sad face, but that happens. That happens. Something like that. And then here's another thing. This area where your bottom lip connects to your face actually has there's no like lines differentiating it. Like, it's kind of just not even there. Hey, I'm in the 38 club as well, my friend. Heck yeah. It's never... Here's the thing, and I actually got this... I've always kind of thought this, but I got this more of a perspective after working at the college. It's literally never too late to start. I saw people going back to get their associate's degrees at the age of like 81. Because it's a thing they always wanted to do, and they had worked their whole life, and they weren't able to do it for whatever reason. They gave up their school stuff for family, or emergency happened, but they want to have some college degree. So I mean, there are 80-year-olds coming back, going to college, getting their 2-year degree, not even to really use it for anything, but just it's a thing they want to do. And I was like, that's the best I've ever seen. Like, it's incredible. Love that. Like, yes, you can do this. You know, you do it for you, no one else. Art's the same thing. Art is a very personal. No one else can do it for you. I think that's what's so cool about it, but also what's so scary about it is like you are the owner. You are responsible for it. If it's really good and people love it, great. If people don't like it, it's a hard pill to swallow because it's like there's no buffer. It's the same thing. I don't think I could ever be an actor. You know what I mean? For that same kind of reason. It's like it's very personal. It's very, you're really getting to the inside of somebody, and that's very vulnerable. Yeah, I literally got my 2 associate's degrees at, God, how old was I? 2016 was, yeah, right before I was 30. You know, I may have been 30 because I graduated 2016 and then I worked for the college until 2020. Yeah, it's true. So, let's come in here. Let's figure this out real quick. So I'm thinking I'm going to smooth that out a little bit. Get rid of that. So basically we're going to clean this up a little bit. But then we're going to take it back into Photoshop and kind of dirty it up with some other texture brushes. That's another thing I'm really digging about this like Photoshop wet brush is if I treat it like a paintbrush, if I come in and do the kind of the messy strokes and kind of leave some of the streaky bits, I actually really like how it looks. If it's not like fully rendered, you know what I mean? If it's not that smooth transition. I think that's a really cool look. But it also gives this stuff some shape because it smooths out. Alrighty, Ivan. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for hanging out. It's great to see you, as usual. See, and like we can do this and get rid of the lines, except for in our main like focal area. See, and now I'm using some of the Asaro head study stuff and trying to give the face a little bit more dimensionality, because I know if the light is hitting up here, like right there, I can kind of come and carve this shape, but really I know that this angle of the nose is catching that light, and that light's going to come down a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So this is a great way to give the face more structure, like basically to make it look like there are bones that could break. Because the thing to remember, as weird as it sounds, the face is one thing. There's different parts, but like, this is basically skin and muscle wrapped around the skull. So you're like wrapping around. So you're going to treat it like one bigger shape that has other shapes coming off of it, you know? And here I can open that up a little. That needs to be a little more. Yeah, there we go. Another person who does incredible portrait type stuff is Aaron Griffin. I love Aaron Griffin. He does very kind of dimensionality style. Like his forms look great, you know. Maybe the top gets cut right there. Maybe this comes down. Maybe the top of this lip gets... Nah, it's a little much. There we go. Something like this. Let's kind of get rid of... Oh my goodness! Christian! Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much. What tablet do you use? So I'm using the Huion Canvas 22. It's a 22-inch touch monitor. I've really liked the touch monitor stuff. Any of the Huion or XP Pen stuff, I highly recommend. So whether you have the preference for a touch monitor or the actual tablet, like that you set down and getting one of those, you don't need some expensive Wacom tablet. I've actually had better luck with the XP Pen and the Huion than I have any of the Wacom stuff that I used. So, I am curious if I want to keep sketch lines in here, or if I want to like fully kind of render them out. Because remember, this is going to be for, you know, smaller, like multi-page graphic novel type stuff. So, but how would you like seeing the smooth type of art compared to crazy textured stuff? So I like, I mean, I like all of it. If it's good, it's good. You know, it's that whole thing. If it sounds good, it is good. Well, if it looks good, it is good. I am always blown away by kind of the smooth rendering, because I think it takes a lot of confidence to know your design well enough and the structure of it enough to get away with no brushstrokes. Does that make sense? Like, it takes a huge amount of know-how to do that. So yeah, we have something like that. Let's select all, edit. Oh, actually, we're in clip, so we have an even better way to do this. If we go to select, or no, layer, merge visible to new layer. So I don't even have to do the select all, merge, copy merge, all that stuff. I just hit a button. Edit. Now I can go select all, edit, copy. And we're going to bring this back over to, and see, this is where the sketch started at. I go there, I go to edit, paste, boom. So That's how much progress we've made in hardly any time at all. I mean, I think we've been live for like, what, an hour, maybe? And then, you know, I do like the scratchiness of this. So I wonder if coming in and adding some, like, maybe if I come in and, like, add some line stuff. Maybe if that'd be cool. I think I need to actually fix... This is a little too flat up here. So what I need to do... There we go. Something like that. Makes it more believable that it's a hood on top of a hood type thing. Like a stacked layer. So, what we could do is come in here. Sharpen that. Is come in here and like sketch on top of this again, but with kind of a paintbrush instead of a pencil brush. Kind of bring in some of these lines again. And maybe that just gives us a little bit of a visual... It's texture, but not really. Because there's no like grimy, gritty texture on it. It's just information. And then we just balance how much information we have in other places. And kind of see what we get. Really go hardcore on those oil shines right there. You know. Those are just nice little tricks of the trade. To really make something pop a little more. So if we do that, and then what do I want to do? First I want to fix that nostril, for sure. It's still bugging me. There we go. But yeah, I wonder if we grab something like this and then maybe come in and like just add some cross-hatching lines. If that'll work well, you know what I mean? Like we talked about the past few streams, if we get a silhouette in here and it looks pretty good, we can kind of do whatever we want. And it should read okay. It's funny, this is almost starting to remind me of like an Anthony Jones painting. I didn't even mean that for that to happen, but hey, I'll take it, man, because Anthony Jones is freaking incredible. And see, these are just random, like, I don't even know what this is, but looks cool. That's all I care about. Who cares? Who knows what it is? That's not up to me. That's up to the viewer to decide. Maybe that's the secret to being like a super good artist, is just make stuff to where then the viewer can make up what it is, and then whatever they say, be like, yep, you got it, you nailed it, man. That's exactly what I was going for. Is that structure? Yeah, that's okay. All right. We're getting somewhere. We're doing something. A bit more jagged than his nose. Yes. So this is where the detail is. And I say detail, but as you can see, it's not really detail, it's just more information. So here, this is like big, the big silhouette, the big shapes, the big hood, the big, like, this isn't even anything. This is basically just folds. It's just, you know, I don't even know what, but it's there. But then as we get closer to the focal point, the marks are smaller and they're more opaque. They're a little bit more pronounced instead of the kind of loosey-goosey out here. Once we get here, but I still want to keep some of that sketchy style because I don't want it to be so like rendered around the eye. And that's personal preference. I probably could. I could probably really come in here and start like, you know, doing like this. Coming in and adding like specific like eyelashes and stuff. But I like it a little more mysterious, I guess. And then we can actually sell that bridge, that eyebrow ridge right there. And also even, come to find out, I can probably come up right here. So like I can really, I'm gonna follow this curve. Remember how we did that circle curve around before to kind of tell us where the stuff would be? It's a little too low, maybe. Get it to where it's not pitch black. And we can maybe even lighten it on the side like that. So yeah, really we're just worried about nuance closer to the focal point, which is going to be the eyes. It's usually always the eyes. Human beings, we have a tendency to just judge emotion just from eyes. Disney was a master at that. That's why Bambi has big ol' eyes and all this stuff, so you can see it. Rick, what's up, man? Welcome. Yes, I saw your message, and I'm gonna take you up on that. And it's funny that you joined this this stream, because this is kind of the style that I'm trying out, that I could maybe make some of the panels of the graphic novel. This could be the style. You know what I mean? Like, it started off real chunky like this. Oh, studying Caravaggio. That's good, good, good. So we start with something like this, and then coming in and refining. But, you know, not every panel is going to be refined like this. But, like, if it's a big emotional scene or something, maybe it could be something like that. We can add that, because why not? So yeah, just trying some stuff out. Seeing if we can get a good render style that's going to be easy to do, that I can replicate, you know, 500 times. And it also won't take 30 years to make. So, I mean, we've done this in a little over an hour. But like I said, this would be kind of a main shot. More so than a tiny, tiny panel, you know. I like the idea of them not having hair, also. I don't even know, like, what this is, really. But it looks cool. That's all that matters. Find it like this, but of course keep backgrounds and less important parts, less detail. Oh, true. Because that's true. Because really it is going to be silhouettes. It's going to be very big shape type stuff. Well, as for breaking into the industry, it wasn't at all. Like, if you're saying like, oh, how much, you know, did YouTube play into getting me my jobs? Nothing. Because before this, whenever I got hired on in 2019, the only thing I had on my YouTube channel was gaming videos. Because that's what I did on Twitch from like 2014, 2015, and then stopped that, and then brought up some stuff around, you know, 2018, 2019, did a few gaming videos here and there, some backlog stuff, retro games. So really, it was portfolio that got the art gigs. ArtStation was the #1 by far, because that's where I got the most messages. And it was people like, oh, hi, I'm so-and-so from, you know, Games Workshop, and we're working on Warhammer, and you did Warhammer fan art, and we really like it. Would you be interested in it? It's that type of stuff. Like, they would see, I guarantee that's how I got the Star Wars gig. Because I did a fan art piece of Boba Fett. And it's still up there, I think. I think I still have it up public. And then that's when Ravensburger and Lucasfilm reached out, and they were like, hey, we saw that you did this cool Boba Fett painting. Do you want to paint Boba Fett for Star Wars? Yeah, I sure do. So yeah, I would actually say portfolio, whether it's ArtStation or DeviantArt or whatever, have it there, because that's where art directors are looking. Art directors aren't really looking at YouTube to find talent necessarily. They might, and they might see like, oh, we can see this person's working method, and we can do blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like they can see that, and then they know you're on the up and up because they can see you work. They're like, well, he's not tracing, he's not using dumb AI crap, he's not, you know, he's talking about how he's doing it. So they could maybe see that, but that would just be to sweeten the pot. Like, they'd be like, oh, this works really good, and they're on the up and up. Like, it's the and then that the YouTube stuff would be. Like I've said before, if YouTube went away, if Twitch went away, if all that stuff went away tomorrow, I would still be A-okay. And what my goal is if the world went without electricity, I could still make my living doing art. You know what I mean? Like, so we're going back to the basics. We're going back to traditional stuff. We're trying to make the whole thing work a little better. Yeah, ArtStation's great. That's where every professional, well, before the AI crap that happened a few years ago, but that was the place to find professionals. That's where I made 95% of my connections in the industry was ArtStation. And they're still there. Art directors are still there, and they are looking, and they are sending messages, and they are, I mean, so if you want to get in there, I know ArtStation sometimes does, like, not a tournament, but sort of, where it's like, here's an art contest, and you can paint a spaceship in your style, and if you get, you know, it'll get some eyeballs on it and stuff. And that type of stuff's really good. It builds up the community, but it also, you get to see some baller artwork. Like, holy crap. I was never brave enough to join one because I wasn't good enough. Like, no way was I good enough, you know. So, Caravaggio's, yes. Grassi, it's perfect. It is perfect. Oh, and by the way, since you guys are here, I promised earlier in the stream that I was going to show you this technique. I found out a way, because I thought about, like, what makes Rebelle and Artrage and Paint Storm Studio so good at that painterly style. And, you know, a lot of it is the impasto. Is like, you know, oh, it looks like thick brushwork and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's true. But what's a good way we can mimic that in something else? So I actually found a way. It doesn't look the same, but it still looks very cool. Is we are going to make a new layer. This is kind of a method that I use in Artrage specifically, and I tried it here in Photoshop, and I had to do a few tweaks, and it works pretty well here too. So this way you can use any brush. It should work in Clip Studio, should work anywhere. So what it is it's basically, you're going to add a bevel and emboss to effect to a layer. The layer is going to be either on darken or multiply, and you're going to paint in white. So the brush stroke won't show up, but the shadow of the bevel and emboss from the paint stroke will. So I'll show you what I mean. It's like, if I change here, if I change to darken, if I go into my FX, and if I do inner shadow, kind of works okay, but it's a little too subtle. But bevel emboss can also be really, like, goofy. So it shows where the light is from and stuff. I'm going to bring the opacity down to about 50, and it's going to be an inner bevel, and it's a smooth inner bevel. And then we can also work on what's our depth and stuff like that. But I'll just show you what I mean. So if we want kind of a thick paint look, and I'll get a few of my brushes just so I can show you. Let's do my 2022, since that has the very painterly, like, John Singer Sargent, and yeah, and like Cynthia Shepard. So we have that. We're on darken, so I'm gonna get white, and that's what this is. And now, do you see whenever I paint, it leaves that texture behind? So you can really come in and kind of trace over your lines, so to speak. You know? And you can use this really with any brush, because they're all going to have different properties. You know. Yeah, so you can basically add your strokes afterwards. Yes. So, like, if you like working a little more illustrative and harsh lines and sketchy and all that stuff, but you still want kind of that painterly look, You can do this and then just match your paint strokes with your brush strokes. Kind of do that. Because then you get that sort of traditional look. And of course, it's going to work different for each type of brush. But, you know what I mean? Like, here's my diagonal texture. So this one isn't even really a paintbrush. But you can still see that it adds some dimensionality to it. It adds a little bit of grit. And if it looks a little fake, if it looks a little like too plastered on there, you can always come and lower the opacity. You know, just to give it that little hint of something. Or if you keep this opacity up, you can always come into the bevel and emboss settings and change these. So if we look at this right here, I can change where the light is hitting from, and it changes the look in real time. Does that make sense? Like, so you can see what works better with your painting. So like that one looks cool because it looks kind of carved out, you know? But this one, if I had the light up here where it was, it looks like impasto is on there. And then of course you can, the depth, you can make it real crazy. You can actually lower the depth because it's at 100, but if it's at like 50 something, it's just a little bit of something. But that was at like 100 something. You can make the size bigger or smaller, you know, something like that. You can soften it a little bit, get rid of that really harsh. I kind of like the harsh look. But then, yeah, the highlight mode, you can do your highlights and then you can lower that highlight a little bit. So that's kind of like the opacity. And then whatever the shadow is, you can crank up that shadow. So something like this. Oh, you can even get rid of the highlights altogether, or you can bring those up, bring that in, bring that shadow in, bring the opacity for the highlights up a little bit. You see what I mean? So now it's almost like you're carving. You're almost like carving shapes and making it look good that way. So that's a way to do it. You can also do this if you wanted more blendy looks. You could do a mixer brush. And then like if we just had like this mixer brush and then I came up here and I did like very wet and the load at 100%, and then made sure this was load solid colors only, and it was white. You could also get some nice like like nice wet blend. So wherever your pressure is, that's where the brush stroke would be. You know what I mean? So like you can do some really cool stuff with this. So it's a cool way to work. Maybe give some actual texture there. Maybe come here. So it's a little bit different of a way to use the mixer brush, but it could be helpful. It can work. You know. And then like the nice thing, some of these shadows from this effect can actually work really well on defining the face and structure of it. So yeah, like we can really get in, we can go smaller, we can make some textures right here to get some of that texture on the skin. But it's not even really painted on there. It's just, you know what I mean? And then we'll go back and we'll do this. Just smooth that out so you can see where the edges are, and you know, so you have some of that grit, some of that grime. Looks pretty good. That's cool. So it's just something different. Just something to give you a little bit more of a different take on it, as it were. And then, yeah, so what I might do is I might come down And then what's great is you can also mask it out. So if you want to keep it like, I like these strokes here, for instance, but nowhere else, I can just mask it to only those show up. But if I just lower this, we keep some of that texture in there. See? So it looks a little more natural. And then we can even do something like that. That way it's pretty subtle. But then if you look close, you're like, oh, look at the brushwork, look at those textures. But it's real, I mean, it's super easy, it's super interesting. Because you can do it fast. So artists start out painting color and blocks, cutout filter. Yes, that's a great way to work, because also that way, if you're using the block method and like blocking in highlights and stuff, oh, what's the artist's name? He does Draw Mix Paint. That's the name of the channel. Draw Mix Paint. Mark Carder, Carder. He lives in, I want to say he lives in Austin, Texas. That's how he teaches oil painting. He makes a custom oil picker, like a color picker, that you use on your brush. And like basically you just mix that exact color and then you block it, and then you block it, and you block it, and you block it. Then you go in later, because oil paint takes forever to oxidize. It's going to stay wet for days and days and days. So then you come back in with another brush, like a fan brush or a filbert, or kind of whatever you want your texture to look like. And then if you need to lose an edge, you blend it. If you need to soften an edge, you smudge it. Like, it's a very methodical way to work, and his stuff looks incredible. He did, I want to say he did the presidential portrait for one of the George Bushes for the presidential library, like in DC. Like, he was the one that got hired on to do that. And like, dude's a rock star, right? Oh yeah, Paint Coach. Yeah. Can't remember what his name is, but yeah, that's good dude. He's really good too. Chris Fonatero. That's right. Oh, Brent, what's up, brother? But yeah, Paint Coach is awesome. So we have our duder here. There was those. And that's where we started. But I think this sketch, because I recorded it for the next YouTube video, this sketch took like 7 or 8 minutes. I was just trying to like play with shapes and stuff. Shabam, what's up? Welcome. Thank you for the sub, my friend. But yeah, so this is how you take a what is it, a 8-minute sketch and turn it into a 1.5-hour painting or something. And see, here's the deal, and this is real talk. Let me take a drink before I come at you with this. So this type of rendering, I think I like doing the best. I think I like making this because it's more fun, it's more energetic, it's not as high pressure cooker. But I'm not sure if it is good enough to get hired on for big gigs. And this could just be a personal thing where I'm in my own way or whatever. But this type of rendering, I think it's cool. I like doing it. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's a big hit in regards to making professional work. I just don't know. I don't know if it's like, I don't know what it is. So if we come here, see, that looks rad. I think that looks awesome. And see, like, yeah, in a perfect world, I would hope I could do work like this and make a career of it. See, I think this looks great, but I don't think I would get hired to make this. um, that's my only. So that's why I'm like, well, maybe I need to do more magic style stuff. Do this for the backgrounds, maybe so. Yeah. So we got that. Also, whoop. There we go. Hey, that's actually not bad because I was in normal mode and it kind of lightened some stuff a little bit, which is nice. But then whenever I go to color, you know, it retains the values. My values weren't far off. I'm pretty happy with that. But see, here's the fun stuff. Do this, you do this, you come in with an overlay layer, not the color layer. Because overlay, anything 50 or above, 50% gray or above is going to lighten your values. Anything 50 or below or darker will darken your values. Any color at 50 will keep the value the same. It's really tricky to look at. Yeah, so that's the thing about portfolios. There's so many different types of advice about portfolios, but what I'm finding more and more, and this is my personal experience, I'm finding more and more that art directors are hiring for one thing. If you have a whole bunch of stuff, like you have some landscape stuff and some concept stuff and some portraits and some characters and a few comics, and like, I think you're less likely to get noticed than if you are a true specialist at one thing. That's at least what I found in the past, like since COVID. Since COVID. People like need a background guy, or people need a portrait, or people need, like, art directors are coming at it from one angle. We need this specialist who's the best we can get with our budget. Let's do it. Before COVID, I would say versatility is good. I would say having a lot of like dabble here and there, and I tried this out in my sketchbook and blah, 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 shows growth. It shows your dynamic and your problem solving and your... But for whatever reason lately, it seems like specialists. Oh, you're the landscape person? Make a landscape. And it is what it is. Not to say everybody's like that, but like, I got super lucky with my timing because I was able to work, you know, on Warhammer stuff and on Varia card art. So that opened up the genre. Like, I can do card art no matter what it is. I can do tabletop role-playing game art no matter what it is, because I've done that job specifically. So yeah, I could paint a bust or I could paint a landscape, but it's all in service to a tabletop role-playing game. So it's still within the niche. It's just a little bit of everything. So generalists, here's the thing. Generalists usually become art directors, not the artists. Like, they're not going to be part of the art team. They are literally the person directing the specific artist. You're the landscape guy. I can do landscapes, but you can do them better. So you do this, you do that. That's the art director. It's like, and like I said, that could be completely off base. And like video games, that could be completely, I've never worked on a video game. I don't know. But that's what I've seen on like the board game, card game, tabletop game stuff side of things. You really find the one thing you're good at, you hone it to the best of your ability, and then you get hired for that. It's like a specialist. You wouldn't hire your plumber to be your dentist. You know, whenever you join, if you're a pro athlete, you don't join the NFL because you're good at every position on the team. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, a portrait, I think, is good enough. Oh my gosh, do I have a portrait? Exactly. So that's the thing is there's a lot of times that these rules and people will tell you these rules like, well, do this and don't do that. And like, it's like, screw that. That all flies out the window whenever something breaks the mold. Like before, let's say before Twilight came out, were people interested in reading about teenage vampire stuff? Maybe there was a little bit of something. But then after Twilight came out, good God, the entire industry blew up. Every author and every manager and every agent and they were all like, well, we got to get the romantic vampire stuff because that's what sells. Like, it all sells and it's really safe until it's not. Until something else comes and blows the roof off the place. So it just depends. Do you want the safer gig? Or do you want to be the one that reinvented like what was successful? That's what I kind of love about it, is there's room for everybody. You know. So I will, if it could be another artist, I will absolutely. We talked about Aaron Griffin earlier. I'm gonna bring him up. So this is Aaron Griffin. This is somebody who their work is extraordinary. But I mean, you also have to think, my litmus for getting to the highest level is like, he's getting gigs from the biggest companies on earth to make their box art. So like, he's considered the best of the best living like entertainment artist on the planet Earth. So like my barometer might be completely out of whack, because these are the people I'm trying to like come after, not like to take his gigs, jobs, or anything, but like my people that I'm looking at is like, okay, how can I get as good as Craig Mullins? Oh, the guy that invented digital art, that's who you want to like. Of course, I always feel like I'm not good enough because I'm comparing to these people, which is absurd. But like, yeah, so like Total War, I'll put it literally, okay, perfect example. I applied to work at Creative Assembly, the people that make Total War, and I was denied because they get people like Aaron freaking Griffin working at Creative Assembly. So like, I get it. Why would you want the hand-me-down? Why would you want the Temu version of an Aaron Griffin when you can get Aaron Griffin? Like, I'm not mad about it at all. In fact, I used it as Aaron works for them. Maybe if I study Aaron Griffin, I can get to that. You know, it gives me fuel. I get butthurt for like a day. Man, I can do it. Blah, blah, blah. But then after that, I like buckle up and I'm like, okay, if I got to improve, what do I need to improve? Why did they say no? What do I need to fix? What do I need to work on? And you get to work, you know. Oh, thank you, Greg. I appreciate that, man. It's, wait, do I see some 3D render here? Maybe, which is great. Smart. I use 3D render. I'm actually using 3D render on a Percy Jackson thing right now. But yeah, I would say Aaron Griffin is a pretty great litmus test to see where you're at. Because God, look at that. I know this is like a Craig Mullins piece type of dynamic, but like, you see these brushstrokes and stuff, and good God almighty, dude is unbelievable, right? Another person is and it's funny, I mentioned him a little bit ago. Anthony Jones. Here we go. Whenever I said, oh, my thing kind of looks like an Anthony Jones thing, this is what I meant, because he does a lot of these, you know? And I was like, oh boy, my thing's kind of like that, even though it's not really. he just has such a good understanding of form and value, but he is absolutely somebody that gets the imaginative side of it. Like, he's an absolute rock star when it comes to, God, look at that, man. Unbelievable. Just his understanding of all of it is perfect. And I mean, and here's another thing you can do. And I know a lot of people have given this advice, but it's absolutely true. Look at the job that you're wanting to get and literally put your art up next to. So if you want to make a Magic the Gathering card, get 5 pieces of Magic the Gathering art and then put your piece in the middle of it and be like, oh, they got this better, they got this better. And you know, you can be hard on yourself. I know I'm super hard on myself all the time, but you can see where you're getting it. You can be like, okay, my colors aren't that off. My values need to be fixed, but my color, you know, that sort of mentality is going to help you. Like, well, let me get that composition down a little better. You're going to know what you can level up to get closer to the goal. But there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot you can do, you know. But yeah, stuff like this. Super cool. And he just paints it, man. He just paints it. You know, no big deal. He just gets in there and he just takes care of business. Oh, I totally see Frank Frazetta and Anthony Jones' work just because of how he does his shadows. His blocked out shadows are big. The other cool thing about Anthony, he has some of the best tutorials I have ever seen. Period. Workflow and efficiency, and his are affordable too. He's actually one of the main inspirations why I kept my stuff really affordable, is all of his stuff is super affordable. Painting hair and fur, $5. Characters in perspective, $5. I mean, back to basics, design methods, touching up sketches, start with color, blender for creature design, dynamic lighting, painting from black. So starting from black, chiaroscuro, literally, is like 3 video tutorials on dynamic lighting packaged together, and with dude's a genius, right? What would you look forward to after getting hired by Magic the Gathering? Would MTG be your highest honor? Would you be satisfied with yourself if you never did? You will. Oh, thanks, man. So I'm an insane person. I don't know if y'all know this yet, but I'm out of my mind. So if I would get Magic the Gathering, I would be elated. I would like it. I'd be like, oh my God, guys, I can't wait for you to see this. Holy crap, yay. And then my next thought would be, I gotta nail this one so I get rehired. So then I would do that one, because I have that saying is 2 to make it true. You can luck out once, but are you good enough? Did you have the business acumen? Are you polite enough? Did you get your stuff in on time? Were you easy to work with? Were you not a diva? Did you make it a better experience for the art director? Because if so, you're probably going to get hired again. 2, you know, basically you're getting hired again, so you have 2 jobs for Magic the Gathering. 2 to make it true. Now I'm a Magic the Gathering artist. Does that make sense? Like, okay, and then, great. If we're firing on all cylinders, let's say we made 7, you know, like I've already made 9 Varia cards. So let's say we made 9 Magic the Gathering cards. What's my next goal? My next goal is to get box art cover. Right? Okay, I'm good enough to be featured among the other hundreds of Magic artists. Am I good enough to get my art on the box art for that? And then it would level up. And okay, I got that. Now, can I get a cover for a Dungeons and Dragons book? The cover. Oh, cool. I got that. Now, can I get that cover nominated for an award? There's always something else. And that's just how my brain works. It will never stop being that way. It drives everyone around me crazy, by the way. Insane. It might drive you crazy as well. It definitely drives me crazy. But it's like, there's that. And then there's the other thing. And then there's the next thing. And then you can do that thing too. And then there's and it constantly goes. And, but there's always growth. There's always stuff to learn. I do think a career is something you look back on. So in it, you just grind and grind and grind. And I think that's part of it. I think there's some power in that. It's like, you can always evolve. You can always get better. You can make your art director's life easier. You can make your client's life better, making a good thing to put on their book cover to, you know what I mean? Like, it's all in service of making cooler stuff. Yeah, and like, it's the IP stuff, like making my own thing and having that make a profound impact. I think that would mean something almost completely different, but more special. Like if I wrote something and it really worked and like impacted somebody and they're like, no man, this is good. Like, yeah, you got something here. Like, okay, now we can start saying things. And like, that's exciting. It's terrifying, but it's exciting. Yeah, I mean, that's it. And I think that's why art and like the pursuits like that, like musicians and writers and photographers, and it gets that person that just, it's not that you're not happy with yourself, because I can be like, yeah, I can make some cool stuff. I'm very proud to be an artist. I'm very happy with the career. But there's something else. There's something else. And I think it's always that pursuit. Hell, Akira Kurosawa, probably pound for pound my favorite film director ever. I mean, Ridley Scott's up there, Kurosawa, Herzog, there's a bunch of them. But like, Akira Kurosawa has a quote about the reason why he continued to make movies is that hopefully the next one would be good. Because he was never pleased with what he made. That dude made Ikaru, he made Ran, he made Throne of Blood, he made Sanjuro Yojimbo, Seven Samurai, Hidden Fortress. Dude's a master, an absolute savant. Like, there's nobody that's better than him. Like, he's the best. There's people that are equal, like Kubrick and all, but like, Kurosawa said, one of these days I'll make something good. Are you crazy? Like, dude, you invented a format, basically. But that's what it is. It drives, it pulls, it does something, But yeah, I mean, overall, there's stuff I can fix on this type of thing. But yeah, I think this is a decent, we got there, and then we got there. This is a decent type of thing we can go for, right? So, I think we might take a break there. And then we might play some games. I don't know. Didn't get to work on... I mean, part of me would be like, yes, I would be slightly bummed if I never got the chance to work on a Magic card. Because I know what it means to me. Like, I know a lot of my heroes did it. It's one of those things that... It's like D&D. Like, I'm ecstatic. I got to work with Troll Lord. I got to work with Warhammer. I got to work with, a lot of independent authors on their passion projects and like stuff that's become very successful. And I mean, hell, our Troll Lord stuff hit over $1 million in like 11 minutes or something on Kickstarter. Something ridiculous, man. These guys are crushing it, right? But then in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, maybe this will lead to a D&D thing. Just because D&D is the staple. Hell, I'm working with Trollord Games on Gary Gygax material. This is literally from the horse's mouth. Some of the art prompts I have, some of the briefs I have been given were written by Gary Gygax, because these are old remastered books that we're remaking. So like essentially Gary Gygax is one of my art directors right now. It's crazy to think about. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't take the gravity of that lightly at all. But part of me's still like, yeah, but you know, I could probably get a D&D spot one day. Just because it's the one. It's like Star Wars is definitely a bucket list. If I had worked on any other sci-fi, I would have been like, but I wonder if I could work on Star Wars. But now I've been able to do that. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yes. It was just as cool as I wanted. It's everything you want it to be. Perfect. But yeah, there would be a part of me that would be bummed if I never got a magic card. Just because literally every one of my heroes has had one. That's how I know half of my heroes, is through magic. And like my daughter and I play it, you know, we have physical cards and, you know, I'm not any good at it, but hell, we play it. And, you know, it's just a big, profound thing. So I think I would be bummed if I didn't get it, but who knows? I mean, with how Wizards of the Coast is, and it could be owned by Hasbro one minute and somebody else the next minute, and like art directors could leave and go, and maybe the person that was going to reach out to me now had their last week at the job, and so much of it's out of my control that what I really told myself was, if I chase skills and not jobs, the jobs will come. So my ability has to come up. My ability to see, my ability to execute, the dexterity of it, the quantity and the quality. Bigger, more, better. Bigger, more, better. And as that happens, my stock rises. You know what I mean? Like, I tell students this a lot, but like, you want to have the mindset of like, be so good they can't ignore you. Just be so good. And not even just good at painting, but like, you answer your emails on time, and you're nice, and you are willing to work with them. And like, if you're the least risky option, they're gonna go with you every time. Every time. That's how you make a career. You don't be a diva, you show up, you do the work, you go above and beyond, you under-promise and over-deliver, you always level up, you're critical of your own work, but you're supportive of the work of people around you. Nothing can stop you. I mean, for real. Kindness goes a long way. Business acumen goes a long way. Knowing your worth, but also knowing when to play ball. That's all part of it. Like, the soft skill side of it is also crucially important. But like, be so good at all of it, they can't ignore you. Because even if you're not the best artist, if you're the best artist to work with, you're getting a job. Guaranteed. They're going to hire you over a better artist any day of the week because you're easier to work with. Do you know what I'm saying? Would you be willing to go all the way there, even if it meant removing the style that got you noticed in the past? So that's a good question. I mean, my mind right now, I'm like, well, of course. You know, yeah, I definitely would. But like, I don't know how. Because at that point, are they hiring me or are they hiring the art? And not like my art, but like, that's actually kind of my worry about Wizards of the Coast, because we see all that stuff about their job hunt stuff for AI. If they don't care who the artist is that touches the art, then what is the point? You know, that's all I'm saying. But Get a Gwent card. Oh, I would love to get a Gwent card. Holy crap. That would be incredible. CD Projekt Red, are you kidding me? Like, unbelievable. Would that single loss outweigh everything you did do? No. No, because, I mean, literally right now, on my shelf, I have the Star Wars game I worked on. I have my Warhammer books that I worked on. I can pull those off the shelf when my kids can, you know, Gracie's, of course, like, old enough to get it, and, like, she gets it, and, like, oh my god, your dad, your name's in this thing, oh my god. You know, like, that thrill. But, like, my kids can play the game that I worked on. Like, once they get old enough and they can read and we can teach them the rules, they can even forget that I worked on it. They can play a thing, and I can see that. I can, like, this thing exists because I exist. Does that make sense? It sounds dramatic, and it kind of is. But this is really how I think about tabletop role-playing games and card games. And if I'm a part of somebody's experience, even a little bit, even if they don't know my name, if they see my art on a card or on a tabletop thing or board game, and that gets them there, that gets them, they forget about their job, they forget about the stress, they're having game night with somebody they care about, a group of friends, loved ones, family. They're in it, they have a laugh, you know, they're learning a new skill because they're learning how to play the game. You're involved in their enjoyment time, the time that brings people joy. And that's everything. That's the career. Like, whatever legacy, you know, I have a gorgeous family, and that part of the legacy's there. So the legacy of, like, bringing joy to others, no matter where they are in the world, at shared things that I like as well, like Star Wars, like Magic, like D&D, like whatever, Warhammer. It's just a way to get it out there. And I think that's the thing. I mean, that's why there's never a bad day. There's never a bad day at work. Because it's like, okay, at the end of the day, I want to bring joy to other people. And we do that through the art, you know. Yes, I do have a copy of everything I've worked on. I'm a goober that way. But actually, they send them, too. They send, like, art proofs and stuff. So I have some behind the scenes things. I have some unfinished versions of things. So, like, some things that might be collector's items, which is fun. But yes, I do. I go out of my way to try to get that stuff. So totally, like, see, hell, man. See, Rick, that's rad. Warlords of Draenor might be my favorite expansion besides Wrath of the Lich King, but they're, like, even, because I love Durotan. I love, like, I'm kind of a lore geek on the original, like, oh, Durotan's Thrall's dad and blah, blah, blah. Like, all that stuff, I'm in it, dude. I mean, we're talking, like, I have tattoos of, like, Jedi stuff and Final Fantasy. Like, we're on a nerd level, the likes of which have never been seen. So, yeah, seeing your name in the credits like that is, like, that's the goal. Like, I just want my name in the credits. I don't want all the glory and credit and, oh, this one-man army. Like, forget all that. Make me a part of a team that made something huge, that was profound, had big impact, you know? Morkborg is awesome. If you want to talk about cool design language and stuff, great books. Sam was, dude, Sam's a trip. He's another one of my idols, man. I love Sam's stuff. Solo gaming it? Ooh, I've been meaning to solo game. There's the One Ring, the Lord of the Rings deal, but they have a solo companion to it. Rangers of the North or something like that, where it's like a solo version of the One Ring. That stuff sounds rad. Sounds super cool. But, you know, thankfully, whenever my kids get older, I'm going to get them into... Gracie's already into Pathfinder, and, you know, we've been playing Starfinder. She loves the Starfinder starter module, so we've played that like 5 or 6 times. Super fun. But while we're doing this, I am going to go grab a drink, And then let's play something. Let's play some Guild Wars. We'll play Guild Wars. We'll play some Street Fighter next time, maybe. Well, we'll play Street Fighter next time for sure. And also, this could be me avoiding playing ranked and getting my butt kicked. Because when you play against ranked, it gets real sweaty. Because those people are in it to win it, dude. Witcher 3 Next Gen. I need to go back to that, man. Motivational battery. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate that, dude. Oh, and I saw... Who did I see come in here? Who did I see? Sherry. Hello, hello. Hope you're doing well. Sorry you came in mid-rant. Well, I guess it wasn't a rant. I wasn't mad about anything. Guild Wars is awesome, dude. There's a new expansion coming out the 20th. Okay, I'm going to do BRB real quick, and then we will literally come right back. Let me get rid of that and this. And then, yeah, we'll be right back. And... oh, let me do that. I haven't even saved my picture yet. I should. No problem. Let's see. Let's save as over here. We're not going to save right there. I'm just going to call this dude character 1. I can spell. Alright. That's saved. I'm going to minimize that and minimize this. Cool. So yeah, I'll BRB. There we go. So I'm still here. I'm going to move this over here. And then let me change this over. I bet I can come over here. There we go. Let's do... where am I at? Oh, it's weird. I'm seeing myself picture in picture right now. Boom. Is it creator dashboard? No. Stream manager. That's it. Let's change over to Guild Wars. Edit stream info. Here we go. Category Guild Wars 2. Bonk. Cool. Okay, so we swapped that. Now let's turn off iTunes. Make sure this is actually all fine and okay. Boom. Got it. So I'm reading Vinland Saga right now. It's super good. I'm on volume 2, almost to volume 3. But I have all of them. I got them from a Humble Bundle, oddly enough. And it's a super good series. It's about Vikings in like the 11th century, maybe. It's just started, got breakfast and gym. Alrighty, Rick, thanks, man. And yes, I will be sending you probably some panel stuff in the next few weeks. It's not anything fancy. It's going to have a little bit of lettering, a little bit of art, and I want you to tell me if does it seem like a real thing? Could this go in a book? Even if it's only like 6 pages long, you know? But we'll see. So let me come out there. Let me come out here. And let's do Guild Wars 2 opening. Log in. And play. Here we go. So here's a new duder right here. Where's the options? Options, sound, there it is. There we go. Cool. So yeah, here's our new character, but I have a level 80, level 80, level 80, and level 60. But yeah, we'll just rock out our new level 80. Or level 2, actually. Our new character, I should say. Double click. And also, Guild Wars is another game I would love to work on. Love, love, love. So, for those that have never played Guild Wars before, this is a little different than a than like World of Warcraft and stuff, because the way this works is you basically, every quest is like a world quest. You can do all the quests with everybody all the time. How does it feel to open up a game? It's weird, dude. It's weird to play a game on stream for the first time since like 2015. You know? But basically we're going to fill out these hearts. Each one of these is a group of quests that builds loyalty. And as you build that, you can level up, you can do all that stuff. But also there's all these things you can find on the map you can discover. So yeah, little waypoints and then scouting areas. And then yeah, vistas that you can unlock. So there's so much you can unlock, and like here's where we are, and this is just the opening area right here, but check out all these paint strokes and stuff. That's rad. But then you zoom out, there's level 15 to 25, 50 to 60, 40 to 50. But then you know, zoom out and zoom out, and you keep zooming out, and you see how big this game is. It's enormous. So you have all this. Insane. And this isn't even the whole thing. There's more of a world map to that. So, but anyway. Then we go back to our little place. And then you just realize how big this thing is. So we're just going to level up a little bit. It's very easy, very comfortable game to play. It's not overly difficult. So yeah, so now we came into this area. Squish spiders and their eggs, clean up webs, flatten worm mounds, and fill troves with hay. So, hello spider. So, and see, as we do stuff, it fills up the bar. And you can see it fill up the faction bar right here. So, I'm gonna come over here, do that. And the cool thing about this, free to play. I've bought every expansion, so I own everything. And this is my first time playing, I think this is a Revenant, is the name of the character class. I like the area of effect stuff.
I did. It's not my fault the cows broke down the gates.
Level up. You love to see it. Did we level up twice? We were at level 2, now we're at level 4? Is that right? Yeah, we leveled up twice. Wow, okay. Get revenge. Yeah. So we got that, we did that. And now I'm a char on my little Velociraptor. Okay, so what do I do here? Defeat Flame Legion, deactivate exploding mortar shells. Okay. Will do. And like, I love the art style in this game. It's primarily, I mean, there's Kike Kotaki. There's two brothers. I can kind of see their last name in my mind. It's like Dociu, D-O or D-U-C-I-O. I can't remember their names. But it's two brothers, and then Richard Anderson, Flaptraps. Amazing, amazing art stuff. Also, Paul Canavan worked with ArenaNet for a while, and he was actually their sponsored artist for a while. Like, they did Twitch streams of art, and let's see what this third one is. Oh, that's a good one. So let's see what these actually are. So these are, see, hey, there's another person. Hey, buddy. So what do we got? Smash your mace into the ground, causing flames to erupt from the mist. The first strike of this attack is more powerful, and it's an area of effect. And then Misery Swipe, okay. And then this one, leap at your foe and deliver a massive attack that cascades outwards. That's cool. 3 impacts. This game is just so, like, relaxing to play. We need more mortar shells. Hey, an event. Don't mind if I do. Handled. Let's come back over here. So yeah, you'll see world things happen like this. Like world quest, where I'm now part of a big group by anybody who wants to join us. And then our job is to kill the Legion, the Flame Legion as they're coming in.
I can fight an enemy that doesn't cheat.
Heck yeah. See, I can probably get to level 80 in like 4 or 5 play sessions now. It used to take a long time to get to level 80. But now, not anymore. So they're basically waiting right here. So we can... Yay, event succeeded. Cool. Osiris, what's up, my friend? So good to see you. So, oh, we finished that one. Good deal. Now, on to the next one. Whenever I started playing Guild Wars just as basically a map completion simulator, the game got way more fun. because I was never bored. I always had like 10 things I could do. What is this? Oh, yeah. We're here and do this. What's up, bud? Oh, God. Why can't I? Jump. Jump. No. Yes. What do I need to do? Oh, man. Let me save him. Jump puzzles, yeah. Super fun. And it just plays really, good. And I decided, because I was getting the itch to return to World of Warcraft, but I was like, you know what? I would rather spend the money on the newest Guild Wars 2 expansion. No. Event failed. Dang it. Hey, but I got bronze. That's worth something. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze any second, so I grabbed something to sneeze into so I don't wake up the family. Ugh. My nose always starts running around this time, like 12-ish at night. Anyway, let's go back to what we were going to do. We're going to get the organized stuff. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Need to grab this. It's funny, with Guild Wars, I started getting into the lore. I read, like, Ghosts of Ascalon, I think it is. And then I started reading the other one, The Sea of Sorrows. I only got like 4 or 5 chapters in, and then I just dropped it for whatever reason. I need to go back and finish it, because I liked the story of it so far. It was about a kid who wants to become a pirate.
That had to hurt.
See, oh yeah, ready to, okay, cool. So I can learn how to dodge. Oh yeah, it's one of those, I remember. It's one of those little treasure chests that's in the middle of nowhere. Same here. I'm a big lore guy. I'm a big nerd, so I want to know everything about it, you know? Name of that website? Oh, so yes, so that is, Greg, that's Sketchfab. SKETCHFAB. So basically, a fab is fabricated model, but Sketchfab is a place where people go and put their 3D models, and you can actually like see them in a gallery. So like whenever you click on it, you can look at the model. Sometimes you can even download it. Some of them cost money, but I know there's an Asaro head that you can actually get for free, and then you can open it up in like Blender or another 3D software if you feel more comfortable with that. And but Sketchfab's great because it's all right there, and you can just spin it around and take pictures of it and like whatever you need to do. But yeah, Sketchfab is awesome. Super, super cool. I'm not liking it as much. Yeah, that's how I am. So this would be, I have 3 level 80s, a level 60, and now this is a level 6. So I thought, well, it's been so long since I've played, it would probably be a good idea to, oh, I need to go get that Vista. It would probably be a good idea to start from scratch. Okay, so here is this. So you'll also find stuff like this around the world, which you talk to this person, but I can sneak past them, like the sound of that. So here's landmines, and what you have to do, yay, you dodge. And then, it's because when you dodge, you're invulnerable, right? Weapon skill, I want... Does a Revenant need... I'll do the sword. Personal story unlocked at 10. Okay, so that's the upcoming stuff. And also any class that has a self-heal is a-okay with me. But you'll see these little things, yeah, around there, like the dodge trial. And then right up here, you'll see a Vista. This little thing right here. So if we come up kind of where we were... And then I run up alongside this. And this is how you know the game really put its art team forward. Like, the art team made a whole lot of decisions, because whenever you view a Vista, you get a super cool look at, like, a very painterly sort of look at the area you're in. All right, Greg. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you very much. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the next stream. Oh God. Oh God. I fell. I fell. So that's what I mean. I don't even need it, but we have a self-heal. And that's awesome. Okay, so what do I gotta do with this dude right here? Strum Bass Clash. What a great name. Protect the fisher folk from the drakes, clean up tar, and fix the broken traps around the lake. Okay. Sounds good. Do it to it. One, got two. Cool. So we'll just clear out some of these mobs right here. Awesome. So I'm wondering if on this run with this character, I could actually start doing more dungeons and kind of more... Because I usually play Guild Wars solo. In fact, I usually play all of my MMOs solo. So maybe I can do more group content and dungeons and raids and stuff now. Especially if I want to make this my main MMO for a little bit. That'd be fun. But the thing about that is it takes time, and time is something I don't have. Not a lot of, at least. That's why we do art for the first half of the stream and then play a little something for... There we go. I keep seeing the icon change, but it doesn't change enough. Like, it doesn't turn the color to say I can, like, do something with it, so... Hey, we're almost done with that one. Oh, come on, bud. You didn't need to attack me. Oh, one more thing. Tar. Yes. Let's do that. Awesome. It gives you so much experience points doing that stuff. And it doesn't take very long, which I appreciate quite a bit. There's another heart thing over here. There's a free item in the cash shop. Oh, buddy. Gotta go do that real quick. I'm gonna save this fisherman first. What the? I just saved that guy. You leave him alone. Here we go. There you go, fisher. I greeted him and he just walked off. He was like, "Thanks for nothing, pal." Alright. Find new items and tickets. That's cool. Yeah. Complete purchase. Nice. Oh yeah, dailies. I haven't played since they've done this. To where they like started I guess the Wizard's Vault, which is account-wide achievement points or something, like, and then like astral rewards are kind of your, I guess this is like more in-game stuff. Legacy. Oh, so stuff maybe from like past seasons or past expansions that you can get with this currency. So they're just rewarding you for playing, which is cool. It's like a season pass, but you never pay for it. That's cool. What's up, Aura? Yeah, it's super, super dope. I'm a sucker for stuff like that. Like, I'm a crazy old man, so things like, hey, you logged in today, here's your reward. I dig it. Like, I've played mobile games that were not very good simply because they gave you stuff every day. You know? Kill Flame Legion, destroy the turrets, power sources, okay. What's up, buddy? We heal him up. All of it, the amount of lore is insane. Yeah, man, Warhammer is, whew, like, one of my biggest claims to fame is I actually got to name and develop, or the name was kind of already chosen. We could pick between them, but to develop the visual style of an entire planet for Warhammer. It's on the other side of the rift, or the warp, I guess. And it's called Charybdion. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's like an old, nasty hive planet, but it's based on like docks and smelly dead fish and stuff. And it has like weird, like almost rainbow smog coming up. It's really cool. But yeah, I got to help make that. Well, so here's where all of it is. Okay. And I feel like they've sped up the heart stuff too. Oh, sorry. I ran off too quick. go. And then just a little bit more on this heart. Got that. Heck yeah. God, they're just giving out rewards like crazy. That's rad. Ritual bag. Tiny ritual bag. Cool. Alright, so we are gonna go. Oh god. Here, we can actually just come over here. We'll jump. Woohoo! We'll just come hang out up here. Well, there's some Ascalon ghosts up there. Actually, we'll go where this other heart is, and that's where we'll log out. Whoa. I almost drove this rafter off the, Oh, waypoint. Yeah, duh. Here we go. Cool. Okay. I like that there's just that one, like, fallen soldier next to everybody. I don't know what happened to him, but whatever. Alright. So yeah, this could be the area to hang out at. Till we log in next time. So yeah. Here's some Guild Wars. Not a lot of it, but you know, just enough. But yeah, it's about 1 o'clock. I have to wake up super early. It's Gracie's first day of school tomorrow for the new school year. So I'm going to meet her up at the school. Even though she's getting older and she's almost in high school, I still go every first day. I'm going to do it with the 2 little ones too. So let's come over here. First, let me grab this. Take all. Each newly created character can only see... Okay, so I need to log into my other characters and grab that before it's gone. Cool. Okay. Let me do options, graphic, windowed full screen. That's what I wanted. Cool. DPI, vertical sync, sure. What am I looking for here? Mute, dynamic, disable. No. Okay, so I want to keep the sound on. That way it doesn't mute whenever I click off the tabs or anything. So let's do that. We'll keep there. We'll keep there. So let's come back over here. Boom. And you will hear some lovely sounds of Guild Wars 2 while we log out. But that is my time for tonight. I hope you guys had a fun one. A little bit less time than I normally go, but I think it was still helpful. It was a lot of fun kind of learning that new method or trying out the new method, kind of seeing what we could cook up. But yeah, a lot of fun. And we will be back Saturday, of course, every Wednesday, every Saturday, like clockwork. We're going to make it a thing. So what I might do, we might do a little more art of that new style. We might try some poses or something like that. And then maybe it will be time to do some ranked Street Fighter. See how bad we really are, you know. So anyways, until we meet again, thank you so much for hanging out. It's so much fun to chat and talk with everybody. Thank you for all the good Guild Wars tips, Aura, by the way. And yeah, so much fun. So great to see everybody. And we will see you on Saturday. Deuces.
Yes.